Hello friends, welcome to video lecture on kinematics of machinery. In the today's lecture, we'll learn about the inversion of double slider crank chain. So let us start. So already in the previous lecture, we seen the meaning of inversion. Okay, so here the double slider crank chain. Double slider. So this mechanism consists of two slider. Okay, if you just look towards whatever the construction in front of you. Okay, so this will acts as link number 4 or frame of the double slider crank chain. Okay, here is the first slider, here is the second slider, and that connected with each other with the help of this link number 2, or that will act as a bar. Okay, so in this case, whenever the input motion is given for this one, this will start moves in downward direction. Okay, at the same time, just let us consider this will actually at the somewhere at the middle position. Okay, this actually moves towards the extreme left side. Okay, so in this way, the position of the B with us, A with us means, in short, right now we'll just say here this mechanism consists of two turning pairs and two sliding pair. If we focus here, the B is connected, this one slider number 1 is connected with the link number 2. Okay, that will form a first turning pair. Link number 2 is connected with the slider 3. Okay, that will forms a second turning pair. Link number 3 is connected with the this one slotted plate. Okay, that will form the first sliding pair, and this will form a second sliding pair. Okay, link number 1 with the this link, so the link number 1 with the link number 4, that will form a next sliding pair. Okay, now see the first one, elliptical trammel. This is nothing but the one of the inversion of this double slider crank chain. Okay, so it is an instrument used for the drawing ellipses. This inversion is obtained by fixing the slotted plate. Already I discussed about that slotted plate. Okay, the fixed plate 4 has two straight grooves cut in it at the right angles to each other. The link number 1, already I discussed about that. Link number 1 and link number 3 are known as slider and form a sliding pair with the link number 4. Okay, the link AB is a bar that will add as link number 2. Okay, which form a turning pair with the link number 1 and link number 2, or slider 1 and slider 2. When the links 1 and 3, link number 1 and 3 slide along their respective grooves, any point on the link number 2, here is the link number 2, such as you just consider this one, P point traces out an ellipse, okay, on the surface of the link 4. Okay, that will more clear to you here. Here this one, for that AP and one AP is here and BP, that indicates the semi major axis and semi minor axis of the ellipse respectively. Okay, this can be proved in the following part. Okay, if we just look towards this one, so whatever the this portion from this spot up to here, so already I have seen AP. AP means here, let us see, when the A point is at this point, the P somewhere here, means this will acts as a semi major axis. If you look towards the distance is nothing but the BP distance. Let us consider B is here, P is here. Okay, this is nothing but the semi minor axis. Okay, now if you look towards here, let us consider this one, this P point. Okay, separate here. Okay, let us consider the XY coordinate for this one. Now my first aim is to get the coordinates for this P point. Okay, let us take this one, XY, OX and OY as horizontal and vertical axis. Let the link BA, here is the link BA, is inclined at an angle of theta with the horizontal. Okay, already shown in the figure number P. Okay, now the coordinates of the point P on the link BA will be, now just see the geometry, can get easily idea about this one. So if we consider this triangle QA, okay, from this PQA, as this angle is theta, means automatically this angle becomes theta. Okay, so from this small triangle, what we get here, cos of, my aim is to get the value for this one, x. So cos of theta equals to adjacent side with us PQ or x, okay, divided by, what's about this indicate, hypotenuse. So PA with us or AP with us. From the same relation, okay, here what we get, x equals to PQ equals to AP. PQ means this distance and this one is nothing but the same. Okay, so here AP into cos of theta, we can get the horizontal coordinate for this P. Okay, similarly I want the vertical distance for the same, the vertical coordinate for this P. Okay, so here again get vertical coordinate for the same. For that, if I consider this triangle PBR, okay, so sine of theta, just use the sinus trigonometric function here. Sine of theta equals to front side with us y divided by, this is the hypotenuse with us BP. So from this what we get, y equals to BP sine of theta. Now if you looks to us whatever the this relation we have written, okay, just get that relation in terms of cos and sin theta in this way. Just take this AP towards the left side, so AP automatically goes in denominator. So x divided by AP equals to cos of theta, and you can get the second relation as y divided by BP, okay, equals to sin theta. Now squaring and adding both these relations, now see what we get, x square divided by AP square plus y square divided by BP square equals to cos square theta plus sin square theta. We know this one formula for this one must be equals to 1. So this is the equation of ellipse. Hence the path traced by the point P is an ellipse whose semi major axis is AP and this one BP indicate the semi minor axis. Okay, now if you just consider this one, P is nothing but the midpoint of this link BA, then what we get here, AP distance and BP distance becomes the same. Okay, so this equation now changes in this way. If I consider AP equals to BP, we can replace this BP by AP. What we get here, x square divided by AP square plus y square divided by AP square equals to 1. So in this way I can get the relation x square plus y square equals to AP square. So this is the equation of circle whose radius is AP. Hence P is the midpoint of the link BA. It will trace the circle. Okay, if I consider this one is the midpoint of this link BA, you can get the circle here. More clear to you again here, if you just watch this one animated video, then that picture will be more clear to you. If I adjust some pen here, just see this actually length goes out of this diagram. Here try to follow the path of this one, get here. Now let us discuss about the next inversion, Koch-Yoke mechanism. This mechanism is used for converting rotary motion into reciprocal motion. So see the various links. This inversion is obtained by fixing either link number 1 or link number 3. Okay, link number 1 or link number 3 is fixed. Okay, so in this mechanism, when link number 2 rotates about this one center B, okay, the link 4 and link 4, there is the link 4 with us. Okay, link 4 indicate here the total actually a frame of this one. This will start reciprocate instead of this one, instead of this cylinder. Link number 4, no doubt here nothing but the fixed one. This indicate the slider. The slider will start its motion, that will move inside of the cylinder. More clear to you with the help of this picture. Okay, let us discuss about the next inversion related with this topic, Oldham's coupling. What's about the Oldham's coupling? And Oldham's coupling is used for connecting two parallel shafts whose axes are at a small distance apart. If you just see here this one, if you just focus on the axis, driving axis and driven axis, okay, now see the distance, something distance is remain. Okay, no doubt both the shafts are parallel with each other, but if you just see here, the small distance is there. Okay, so during that condition you can use the Oldham coupling. The shafts are coupled in such a way that if one shaft rotates, the other shaft also rotates at the same speed. This inversion is obtained by fixing link number 2. So here is the supporting frame with us. Okay, the shaft to be connected have two flanges. Here is the flange number 1 and here is the flange number 3. Okay, first one is here and second one is here, and rigidly, this one rigidly fastened at their ends by one forging. And if you look towards this one, intermediate piece is there, that will act as a link number 4. Okay, whenever we give the for this one, this start rotate. Okay, when the driving shaft is rotated at one rotated, the flange A, this one, let's consider the flange number 1, is connected easily to the driving shaft, also rotates by the same angle. The intermediate shaft is also rotated by the same angle through which the flange number 1 has rotated. Due to the rotation of the intermediate shaft, intermediate piece, the flange number 3 or link number 3 connected with the driven shaft also rotates by the same angle. Hence the link number 2, here is the link number 2 with us. Okay, and here is the link number 4, and here is the link number 1. This one, link number 1, link number 4, and link number 3 have the same angular velocity at any instant. The distance between the shafts of the axis of the shaft is constant, and hence the center of intermediate piece will describe a circle of diameter equals to the distance between the axis of the shaft. There is the sliding motion between the link number 1, sliding motion between the link number 1 and link number 4. Okay, because of the extended tongues of this one comes in contact with the groove or the slot created on the link number 1. The similar phenomenon will occur to the another side, because the slot is provided on the flange, okay, link number 3, and if you just see, the extended tongue is provided the another side. Here T1 and T2 are nothing but extended tongues. Okay, now there is a sliding motion between the, okay, already we discussed about that, sliding motion in between this one link number 1 and link number this one intermediate piece from this side. Okay, similarly sliding motion occurs in between the link number 4 and link number 3. Okay, this will more clear to you with the help of this animated diagram. Okay, I hope that the today's lecture, inversions of double slider crank chain, clear to you. Thank you.